My name is Sonia and my channel is An Enthusiastic Reader, and today I have been tagged to do a phenomenal tag, and this is the Phenomenal Women tag that was created by Marilyn Mendoza, and she wanted to highlight her favorite phenomenal woman writer, and so she chose Maya Angelou to feature through the whole month, and so she's doing a series of videos, and she created this tag, and I was tagged by Priscilla at Evening Reader, and I wanted to do the video before I watched anyone else's version, and I am also editing this in iMovie instead of using my other video editing software. So please bear with me as we see if I can just simplify and pare down the editing process for videos. So I'm just going to jump right in to the video topic itself. And the first prompt is, who is your favorite phenomenal woman author? I don't have one favorite, but a favorite of mine that I wanted to highlight that I don't hear talked about too much on BookTube is Mare Gaitskill. And she has written a number of short story collections, an essay collection, and a number of novels. And what kind of distinguishes Mare Gaitskill is her sensibility, which is unsparing, unsentimental, very cynical, sometimes satirical, and just really gets into the ugly, visceral, uncomfortable subjects of being American, of being a woman in America, beauty standards, I would say, misogyny, sexuality, self-hatred. There's just so many topics that Mare Gaitskill covers in her books. And so I thought it would be really fun to revisit some of her work. I have not read all of her novels, but I have read a nice sampling, and so she is just one of my favorite writers. I don't know that she would herself liked to be categorized as a phenomenal woman writer. To me, in my mind, she probably pushes back on any kind of award or accolade because she is just so single-minded in her writings. I thought it would be fun to just give you a little bit of a sample of her writing. So I wanted to read from my favorite work of hers, which is called Two Girls, Fat and Thin. This is the story of two women who are both troubled, have a very abusive, they had very abusive childhoods. One is a reporter who is kind of doing an investigation on this woman who has a bunch of followers. She's supposed to be kind of modeled on Ayn Rand. And so the reporter is wanting to, the reporter wants to interview someone who has been in kind of an acolyte of this Ayn Rand-like figure. And so I'm going to read the very first couple of pages from the novel that give you all the sensibility you need to know if this is a writer that you might like. So please, I'm just going to be reading from my iPad here. And this is the reporter. This is the reporter speaking, and it's written in first person. I entered the strange world of Justine Shade via a message on the bulletin board in a laundromat filled with bitterness and the hot breath of dryers. Writer interested in talking to followers of Anna Granite. Please call. It was written in rigorous, precise, feminine print on a modest card displayed amidst dozens of cards, garish Xerox sheets, newsprint, and ragged tongues of paper. The owners of this laundry establishment seem to have an especially lax policy when it comes to the bulletin board, and upon it, any nut can advertise himself, express an inane opinion, or announce a slogan amid a blathering crowd of ads for gorillograms, lost cats, plaintive George, wearing a tiny amethyst earring, gray leather boots, searching for a provocative boy in tight silver pants who asked tall black man for a fabric softener. Microcosmic orbit meditation lessons, yes sir, the all-boy maid service, and spiritual karate for women. That day, there was even an especially sinister card bearing an invitation to submit to tests that would determine whether or not your suicidal depression could be alleviated by the latest medication or hypnotic technique. An invitation evoking images of bulimic girls held prisoner in somebody's basement, drug-addicted prostitutes confessing to severe men in white coats, electrodes wired to the naked bodies of frightened volunteers, rec rooms erupting with violence, all made doubly queasy by their proximity to wretched George with his laundry. This is just like a sampling of the unsparing kind of underlying sexual torture, violence, tension that underlies a lot of Mare Gaitskill's writing. And so while it is all of those things, it is also often very funny. And so she's exploring a world and an undercurrent and a sensibility that we don't see in a lot of other novels written by women or by men. So the characters are difficult, they're hard to like, yet there is something really compelling about them, and that's why I'm drawn to Mare Gaitskill. Question 2. What book features your favorite phenomenal woman character? Now, this novel was written by a man, but it features one of my favorite fictional women characters, and the book is called The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman by Ernest Gaines. He is an African-American writer who wrote essentially the autobiography of someone that was modeled on one of his relatives, I think an aunt, that a woman who had been a slave and then is living through Reformation and living through Jim Crow and then living through later protests. I think it was written in, I think it was written in the 70s. And it's got kind of a frame story that she is like turning 100, I think, and she's being interviewed by an historian who's writing a book about her. And she just tells her story in first person of the moment that she finds out that she has been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. There is a lot of violence, and there's a lot of very harsh things that happen to her and her family as she, goes through history in the United States. But she has such a spirit and her voice is so unique. The audiobook for this is phenomenal if you're interested, but I really loved the character of Miss Jane Pittman. It was a movie made with Cicely Tyson as the star, but I would say the book is just so great on its own that if you haven't picked it up and you're interested in African American literature or just great literature in general, please pick this up. Finally, the third question is, if you were creating a book prize, which book by a phenomenal woman author would you choose? And the book I have chosen for this prompt is Accordion Crimes by Annie Proulx. And this could be considered the great American novel because it follows the path of the 100-year journey of the inception and manufacture of this green accordion, and it chronicles all of the owners that own this particular single instrument across the North American continent and down into Mexico, up into Canada, and across the United States. It's really funny. It's rollicking. It's full of violence and lust and greed, all the human faults that we have, but it also explains all the different types of music that this one accordion could produce from group to group to group. So it's really a story of immigration. It's a story of all of these varying ideas, history, good luck, bad luck, maimings, and disease, death, and just the fate of the accordion as it is chronicled. And I just absolutely loved the experience of reading this book. Those are the 3 answers to the tags, and the 4th is to tag a few booktubers to do the tag. I'm choosing Brian from Bookish. I'm sure he's already been tagged by other phenomenal booktubers, but Brian is really good at doing these tags, and so I'm picking Brian, and I'm also picking Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics because he tags me, and often I don't fulfill my tag, but I just want him to know I appreciate it, and so I am tagging him, and I don't know if he's done this prompt or not. And if you guys don't want to do it, I have no problem with that, but I just thought I'd put it out there. So that's it for today, and we will see how I am able to manage to edit this video. And I really enjoyed talking to you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.